a minute.
We are live now. Manushi, you can please start the session now.
All right.
Please tell us when you're opening.
All right. We're ready now, ma'am.
Please start.
Hello, namaste. Welcome to ForOptom Optometry Updates Expert Live Panel Discussion. Today we have with us esteemed optometrists in different field of optometry to discuss about optometry education options after graduation. The session is live on YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button right now. My name is Manashwi and I will be moderating the discussion today. So let's begin by welcoming our panelists. First of all, let's welcome Professor Venkataramana. Professor Venkataramana graduated baccalaureate in optometry in 1993 from Elite School of Optometry and later completed his fellowship in LVPEI in 1994. He then worked in Botswana as consultant optometrist for 2 years, returned to India and started his private practice called KVKL Eye Care and Opticals. Then he joined Shankar Netralaya and Indian Institute of Technology Madras for a DST-sponsored research project in August 2012, along with PhD enrollment at Sastra University, and is internal as well as external examiner to DNB ophthalmology students and optometry students affiliated to Kerala University of Health Sciences, Thrissur. He is a member of ICAL and also has a FICAL status. He has more than 25 years of clinical, academic, and research experiences with 21 national and international peer-reviewed research publication to his credit, along with publication of a book, A Handbook on Practical Approach to Troubleshooting and Solution in Spectacle Dispensing, reviewed and released by Professor Mojali. He is also a peer reviewer in SCI indexed International Journal of Ophthalmology, and his area of interest and specialization is aberrations correction with contact lenses. Welcome to the panel discussion, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
We also have with us Mr. Usman Memon. Mr. Usman Memon got his diploma in optometry in 1996 from JPMT School of Optometry. He did his Optom from the Miraj College of Optometry and completed a master's degree in optometry from NIMS Jaipur in the year 2008. He's pursuing PhD in myopia control with MFCL from Gujarat University. He is a fellow of International Association of Contact Lens Educators Australia since 2008 and is associated with contact lens training and teaching at various institutes of optometry. He's assigned as key opinion leader by a few contact lens companies to train fellow optometrists and opticians to dispense appropriate contact lens. Mr. Usman is currently working as senior lecturer with Nagar School of Optometry, Ahmedabad, teaching UG and PG optometry. He is the academic advisor to a couple of institutes of optometry in Gujarat and is contact lens consultant at Sri C.H. Nagari Municipal Eye Hospital, Ahmedabad, and senior consultant low vision contact lens and pediatric optometry at Banker Retina Clinic and Laser Center, Ahmedabad. He's associated with United Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, where he takes care of eyewear designing module for designers. His area of interest are specialty contact lens, including GP, scleral orthokeratology, and myopia control management. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Usman. Next up, let's welcome Dr. Ramesh SV. Dr. Ramesh SV is the Associate Professor and Head Department of Optometry in Manipal College of Health Professions. He completed his PhD in 2014 from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, India. He has received the Indo-US Public Health Research Postdoctoral Research Fellowship 2014 at Wilmer Eye Institute, Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, USA. He has 58 research articles in peer-reviewed indexed journals with H index of 18 and has filed 3 patents. He is one of the India coordinator for Erasmus Project Oculus and is the founding director at Vizient Healthcare Private Limited. His work on cost-effective portable imaging device Ocuda won gold medal for best innovation in 2013, and he is the trustee of Association of School and Colleges of Optometry India and is also a member of Optometric Glaucoma Society USA. He is an active member and the steering committee member of Institutional Research Committee MCHP Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Welcome to the panel, Dr. Ramesh. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Similarly, joining us today is Dr. Aditya Goyal. Dr. Aditya completed his Masters of Clinical Optometry from Pennsylvania College of Optometry Dallas University and has been practicing optometry since 1991. He is the principal of Shankara College of Optometry and is credited for establishing optometry colleges in Chennai, Bangalore, Ludhiana, along with Shankara Eye Care Group of hospitals. He also serves as president in the board of ASCO India. Dr. Goyal is a PhD holder and a fellow of COVD. Currently, he practices binocular vision and vision therapy and rehabilitation in Vision Aid Clinic, Chennai. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Goyal. Welcome to the panel. Next up, we have Ms. A. Valarmati, who is also joining us today in the panel. Ms. A. Valarmati is a senior lecturer at Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research. She graduated in optometry and then pursued MPhil. She has published various books and papers and has given lectures and presentations in various CMEs, seminars, and workshops. She is a member of Indian Association of Pediatrics, Indian Optometric Association, Optometry Association of Tamil Nanbargal, COVD, OCI, as well as ESOAA. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Valarmati. Welcome to the panel. So we will, without further ado, start the discussion, starting with Professor Venkataraman. What is BSc Optometry and what does the program equip the students with? And what is expected, especially clinically, of a B-Optom graduate?
Yeah, well, there are many ways to look into it. The most common what we look for is the graduates of optometry going into the clinical practice, seeing patients, doing refractions, contact lens dispensing, spectacle dispensing, and then low vision. There are specialties also. So the primary concern, primary point what we look at the optometrists who completed the graduation is to do a comprehensive eye examination covering all the aspects of eye care, diagnosing, and giving a best management options. Of course, one need to train themselves more and more, deeper and deeper, by specializing in their area of interest. As I told you, it can be contact lenses, it can be low vision, it can be pediatry or binocular vision. So they have to start looking for these options, and if they want to go for an academic career or a clinical career, during the probably final year of internship, they should try to channelize their views.
Thank you,
Professor. They have to take it further.
Thank you, Professor. I would like to ask the same question to Ms. Valarmati. What is BSc Optometry and what does the program equip you with? Anything you would like to add to what Professor Venkataraman said?
Okay.
You want me or Valar?
Let's go with Ms. Valarmati first, and then I'll
Okay.
come to you, Dr. Aditya.
Sure. Sorry.
Okay. First thing, I think we should be very clear about the nomenclature. We usually call it as B-Optom. Is it, sir?
Yeah.
So
Valar, now there's a lot of confusion and debate on that because a number of universities offer B-Optom, a few
Some
universities offer BSc.
BSc Optometry.
For example, in Karnataka, RGHS offers BSc, and I'm sure the same thing is with KUAS in Kerala.
In KUAS also, Kerala also, yes.
But UGC nomenclature is only B-Optom, right?
UGC is a suggestive body, but it is not a body which can enforce things. So the enforcement lies onto the university and what they decide. So we can have representation in universities asking them to change the nomenclature. But if you really look at it, there's nobody who can force them to change the nomenclature.
Friends, can I kindly suggest let's stick on to this discussions on the
competencies
that are required.
Off the track.
Yeah.
Sorry to have been interrupting you guys. Yeah.
Okay, as far as optometry is concerned, after your undergraduation, I think you can do your fellowship. There are a humpty number of fellowships. You can find your stream. Basically, there are very interesting streams. that will lead you to be an entrepreneur and a private practitioner, basically. So you should choose one that will help you. Suppose if it is like you're choosing binocular vision or vision therapy as your stream, then you have a greater scope after your undergraduation, and you can have a really good flourishing practice. And that, I think, in my view, I think that will be a differentiating factor compared to other optometrists. uh, Apart from that, you can do your master's degree, and which can further lead you into research. If you're really into research, you publish and you can perish. That's what I think, that's the day. If you have some patents in your name, if you can publish, each of your publications is going to earn you from the university.
Thank you,
So
Ms. Valarmati. Dr. Aditya, you wanted to say something about this.
No, nothing. I just
that
wanted to.
would be the of your administration.
So if I may chip in, Manasvi, I think I would take up the World Council of Optometry definition as one of the key things that we also took it up when ASCO formed the India entry level skill matrix platform that we exercise that we did. So basically, what does WCO define optometry as? Optometry, quote, is a healthcare, optometry is a healthcare profession that is autonomous, educated, regulated. And optometrists are primary healthcare practitioners of eye and health system who provide comprehensive eye and vision care, which includes refraction and dispensing, detection and diagnosis and management of eye diseases, and the rehabilitation of the conditions of visual system. This, unquote. So this, I think, defines what competency an undergraduate program of optometry and a B Optom program or a BSc Optom program, an undergraduate program optometry is aimed at. So we are creating a group of professionals who eye care professionals who are the primary eye care professionals with competencies that can handle the whole plethora of eye care needs, so that we become part of the public health system. Okay, because for a 1.37 billion population and the other population globally, optometrists are the most cost-effective way of providing quality eye care without compromising on any norms, and we can be competent enough. We aim at creating competent optometrists. A very strong word is competency here. Okay, to enable all these aspects that I just now iterated, how WCO defines optometry as. So that is the definition I would take for what a program of optometry should aim at, or at the end of optometry when they graduate, what is that they are expected to do. Yeah, I think I would end with that.
Well, I just want to add something to that, Ramesh. The thing is, WCO optometry is defined in different countries depending upon the requirements of the country, the public health and the vision requirements. So WCO has given a very broad statement, but considering the requirements, the visual requirements and the primary health requirements, a person is free to make changes in optometry curriculum and the way it is practiced.
Agree.
So when we started optometry in India, the idea was there was a lot of refractive error, there was a lot of cataract. So the idea was that optometry should be a primary eye care and the healthcare practitioner. I shouldn't say primary eye care alone. Optometrist is a primary healthcare practitioner who is supposed to take care of the major burden in cities, smaller towns, villages, and allow the ophthalmologists to use their skills in the field of surgeries and higher treatment modalities. That was the basic idea behind starting optometry in India. And I'm sure it's the same thing in Nepal also, where the optometrists were not considered or were not trained to be the tertiary eye care practitioners, but to be the primary eye care and healthcare practitioners.
Thank you, Dr. Aditya. Mr. Usman, anything you would like to add here?
I think so. All the panelists have added a lot. What I would like to add here is, if we are looking at BS curriculum of optometry, one is academia, which we are teaching at the institutional based to this UG students who have come, or their entry level is 12th science. So their mental maturity level is not too high to deal with patients. So at the end of 4 years, we need to nurture these people from one more perspective, that is their own personality development. Number two, how to handle the psychology of patients. Number three, the maturity level which we have to imbibe in our own optometrist to handle the management level of optometry. Beyond the definitions, I would like to emphasize on this concept that we should take care at BS optometry level.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Usman. Thank you. So moving on to the next question, I would like to start with Dr. Aditya. What are the differences between a residency program, a fellowship, PG, diploma, and master's program? And then apart from that, where does PhD stand? How is PhD different from all of them? And what does it equip us with?
You've asked me the entire program after optometry. I'll talk more about the differences between residency and fellowship. And I let the other colleagues of mine talk more about the PhD as well as the master's program, because there are certain differences in which the way master's program is conducted in different universities. But in India, we have a slight misunderstanding about terminologies, fellowship and residencies. They are interchangeably used. Now, when we look at a residency, it is a person is in the hospital or in the clinic with the patients, with the mentors, and is working along with the mentor on the patients. So a person who has, let's say, just graduated from optometry or has done his master's in optometry, and after that he wants to specialize, like what Valar was talking about, specialization in vision therapy or low vision or contact lens or something. So that person joins some institute, hospital, clinic, whatever, which is offering the residency program, and along with the mentor works on the patients and gets. So this is, I would say, will be the beginning kind of thing. Whereas fellowship is, you have your ideas, you're already practicing that specialty, and you want to refine your philosophies. You want to strengthen your philosophies. So that can be fellowship, where you do not have, you are not particularly in with the patients in the clinic, in the hospital, but you are answering certain questions. You are discussing something with your mentors, and over a period of time, you are offered that philosophy, the fellowship. So this, I would say, would be the main difference between a residency and fellowship, which is considerably interchangeably used in India. And I'm sure it's the same thing in Nepal also. But people think that if you do that fellowship, what I just mentioned about fellowship, and they can learn something immediately. No, you have to be with the patients, you have to be with the mentor in his or her clinic or the hospital, and then work on the patients and learn the trade, tricks of the trade.
Thank you, Dr. Aditya. Dr. Ramesh, what would you say are the differences between all of these terminologies, residency programs, fellowships? There's something called PG diploma, as well as this master's program that one can do after BSc. So what are the differences?
Yeah, Manasvi. I think Dr. Aditya sir gave a very clear definition of how pre-COVID definitions are. But now, as an academician, I see post-COVID as an higher education institute, we are all going to innovate a lot. Okay, for example, there are programs known as the integrated programs, where graduate training programs, certificate programs, or diploma in myopia control offered by UNSW, and we are looking at how MAHE can work with them. But the thing is, like, it's going to be a blended thing. So it might be a fellowship, it might be an online integrated training, and there'll be a focused, okay, because some clinical practices might not have that amount of exposure, like the kind of exposure that we can get from the clinic that Dr. Aditya runs. will be on those kind of things, wherein I would do the online course to understand, capacity build myself up to optometry, to know what is happening in the science of a specific field, and get a short-term posting known as a residency or a fellowship. It could be an integrated part of online plus in clinic kind of a thing. But as Dr. Aditya rightly said, a fellowship program doesn't mean that there'll be spoon feeding done. Like in after the biggest challenge with education system in India is we have been spoon fed till 12th a lot, and when you, as Usman ji was saying, we need to come out of that and make them critical thinkers, right? So that onus of I take up my clinical position, say I'm a glaucoma person, I need to know what is happening in the field of glaucoma. Okay, I could do it by reading articles and things, but how about skills and certain competencies I've developed, like the heart competency? If I have to really see a patient who's losing vision and explain to him how it is happening, okay, I need to get that training done, or I need to know about how to go about interpreting OCTs, like from a glaucoma field of view. So we have a fellowship program on glaucoma, right? So these are the core aspects. So it is, first of all, after you finish optometry, okay, you start exploring, this is what I like to be in, and I want to see myself in this clinical position in the next 10 years. Then you can build through these fellowships and integrated training program. Okay. When you come to masters, I'll share in a different aspects. So academia, if your career into academia, then you need to take up research as your front line and take it up, because academia is getting into more of research driven and PhD is necessary. But let's go to that when the question comes. As for this, I understand the way I see it is going to be blend. Post COVID, it's going to be a lot of challenge. It's going to be integrated, the pedagogic terms that we use as hybrid education systems. So we are going to even have more such nomenclatures, as sir was saying, fellowships, residency. The whole idea is simple. I would see it like, what is the end of a program? As an optometrist, what is the skill or competency I have to develop? So there are structured programs that help us gain those strengths, the clinical skills, the knowledge, and the attitude competencies. So that is what every of these short-term programs are. And these are all going to be work integrated, because very important is not everybody can afford a full-time spent masters or thing program. So we need to be in the community, continue providing my clinical care and pay back my loans and other things that I've raised up during the bachelor's training, but also upgrade myself to be relevant in the course of clinical practice. That's how I see residency and these programs. So we are going to have new and more complex nomenclatures, but be open to learn. It's a lifelong learning aspect. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ramesh that education, you can never have stages. So especially when you're in a field like optometry or something like medicine, you got to be a learner throughout your life. You can never say that you have learned everything. One thing I just want to specify or talk about masters. A lot of people, a lot of students and optometrists, they think masters is a step ladder to faculty position. I would like to disagree with that, because masters can be and it need not be. When we are doing masters in number of universities, it's a clinical masters. So clinical masters is training you to become a better clinician rather than a person who is an academician. Okay, so you have to decide what you want to do. So when you're doing when you want to get into academics, then you have to move towards that angle, like what Ramesh was talking about, the teaching methodologies and pedagogy and all those things and research aspect. Yes, you start getting into that and get yourself trained to be a teacher. But when you are doing a clinical masters, or you want to specialize in some clinical aspect, then yes, you are a clinician rather than, so it is not a step ladder to becoming a faculty.
Yeah. But if I may add in one thing to what you said is,
thank you.
That's if I may just take a couple of minutes to bring in more clarity on what sir said. The previous Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ram Narayan sir of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and he's currently our Vice President and head of operations at Jaipur campus. So he beautifully says he's an expert. He's such a train the trainer expert. So he trains all educators like us. You know, teaching is not something you're born with, and it is something that you have to cultivate, right? These competencies and skills, you're not born as a teacher. So if you're getting into academia, it's very important, you know, to take up these. There are fellowship programs, okay, known as FIMA, Foundation of Advancements in International Medical Education and Research, okay, which are free programs that are very integrated 2-year program that talks about what goes into the science of medical education. Okay, FIMA programs are offered in various institutes across India, and we have in Mahe we provide a globally renowned program on interprofessional education, with the known as the FIMA M. Philippi, which is with University of Philadelphia. Okay, but what is these programs is basically there are regional units in Vellore, in CMC, Ludhiana, in many other places where you can take up online courses on how to be a good teacher, what goes into the art of pedagogy, and then get into it. These are extra competencies required. So academia means it's serious business again, right? You need to understand what are the learning objectives that you need, what is that you want to create in a program, and how to run a program. So I am very happy to share that, in India, we are gaining optometry. We have around 4 to 5 people who have taken up these FIMA programs and are FIMA fellows in the field of optometry, because usually it was only to the field of medicine. If you look at MBBS, most of the medicine offering institutions, FIMA, if you want to be a medical educationist, you have to do FIMA fellowship. But now there are optometrists who are FIMA fellows. Okay, and I'm very proud about one of my PhD students, who's Dr. Mrs. Vidyut, who's doing her research in the field of capacity building and medical education. So it's a very important thing that if you want to be looking at your career into academia, you need to skill up those aspects.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Professor Venkataraman, there is something
Yeah.
also known as PG diploma we have. So how is that different from any fellowship or residency program, and what can a student obtain from that?
Yeah, like I think before I go into the PG diploma, I wanted to put in another dimension
Sure.
of what to do after BSc optometry. Like PG diplomas, residencies, fellowships, MSc optometry or MPhil or PhDs are routines. But there is another thing which is very important nowadays. What every student should keep it in mind is, there are thousands of optometrists graduating from India alone, more than 3,000 or 4,000 per year. So one has to be different from other. So what I would suggest is to know, apart from these programs, which they can think of and pursue further, but they should also learn the other skills to get into the integrated skills, what I call it as. Like, for example, students learning digital image processing, MATLAB, Python, to develop the programs. It helps in many ways. Similarly, MBA, people who are interested into going to the, business marketing sector, they can go in for that. So these integrated programs are also, very, very important. But not many students may prefer to do these things, but they can also have a look at that.
So coming to the PG diploma thing, how is it different from the residency program or fellowship?
Yeah, like PG diploma, I have, of course, the knowledge gaining and skills are equally good. But only one thing I found, what I would love to know about it is how far, what are the universities, how far the, the certificates are. Probably Aditya can comment on that. The
Well,
postgraduate diplomas.
Yeah, see, what I understand is PG diploma is offered by LV Prasad Eye Institute, and it is not
Exactly.
a university affiliated program.
Exactly. That's what I was
So,
about to. Yeah.
yeah, so that is not a university affiliated program, though
Yeah.
I have no doubts about the quality of the program and the
Perfect.
education and the skills and
Yeah.
everything that is imparted.
Yeah.
But if you say university affiliation or the universities which are offering, no, they are not.
Yeah. Exactly. The knowledge wise, yes. See, LVP's knowledge wise, PG diploma is an excellent program. Like you can choose your discipline. For example, they have in contact lenses dispensing, vision therapy. I think binocular vision also they have.
They have on
But
pediatrics, yeah.
pediatrics, yeah. So knowledge wise, yes, it's very good.
So, Manasvi, if it again comes to that competency, so after your optometry graduation, see, the good program offered by my friends at LV Prasad Eye Institute are so integrated that you get a good exposure to being in the
Exposure,
clinic.
yeah,
Okay, so you get a blend of everything.
yeah,
LV Prasad or Shankar Netralia and AIMS, and these are institutes of eminence in that area of great importance in research, and they blend in everything together in an environment that is not available to majority of the other optometric institutes, right? So this is a very good opportunity wherein I graduated from say one XYZ Institute of Optometry, but I have the flair. I want to really taste how am I a candidate for research? Am I interested in this? Okay, so this is a good opportunity wherein you join as a PG diploma program, and you walk the journey, and then you really realize, wow, I like it. The initial program that Eli Prasad offered was very good. Even Sir was a fellow of that program, wherein you first go into first 3 months will be general exposure, and then you go into
yeah.
discipline. But now they have refined it into a complete PG diploma program, which is highly focused. If you see, you would become a very good
Highly refined,
researcher, highly
highly
refined.
refined also.
So
Yeah, yeah,
that helps you pivot. You see, we are all very young, as Usman sir beautifully put it in the very first thing. We are dealing with the just 12th graduated student, okay, who joins
yeah.
into a profession at the age of 21. He is and respected. He's supposed to be a competent optometrist. This is a huge burden on their head, man. Come on. And then that's the time wherein I need to fish in. And as Venkataramana sir said, how do I be a better fish among the whole pool? Like, how do I be a winning fish?
Yeah.
That's what these are avenues for you. Okay. So there is beautiful strength in each of these programs. Okay. A full-fledged master's program has its own strengths, but PG diploma programs have their own strengths, though it may not be university affiliated, but the kind of competency you get, okay, it helps you catapult into what you really want to go in. Okay, you might think I like research, but if you get into the whole art of being a researcher, it's hard work. I know the hard and the sweat that goes in. Okay, to be academia input and completely being in research, writing for grants, getting it, it's a very serious mindset. So as a young graduate, I do not know whether I'm built in for it. So many of my postgraduate students who have had the exposure at Manipal, they are there at with Dr. Shrikant and my colleague friends at Eli Prasad. They are having a very good ball of good clinical exposure, and also blended with interactions with researchers of national, international repute, and to really see where they really want themselves to be. Okay, so these are the advantages. So these good short-term programs are really helping us, giving you very good avenues to choose where you want to be. Okay, that's how I see it. These kind of program offered by the SN Academy, and many of these things are very good exposure for us. Many other institutions who offer that. Kudos to them. Value.
Mr. Usman, anything you would like to add over here?
I would like to summarize to all these great gentlemen. When we are talking about residency. Actually, residency is polishing your skills, what you have gotten when you were in UGs. Correct? Once you're under this residency program, what you get polished. Now here you have to choose what specialty, cadre you or discipline you would like to go ahead in your optometry career. And once you do this, that the child or a graduate has understood that this is my discipline which I want to go ahead. It can be a clinical, it can be a optical outlet business, it can be research, it can be academia. Then he has refurnished, making it more specific, doing PG diplomas or fellowships, which are certified courses not given by universities. Let me do it, clarify it again. These are given by the star institutes who are doing it, and these are now giving you a critical thinking about your specialty and management, and that critical thinking will give you understanding of what specialty you want to practice in future. And that critical thinking can be from your academia if you want to do as pedagogies. So what you want to perceive is cannot be done at UG level. UG level is very basics. Here, actually, in internship, students should be given the exposure that these are the different ways which you can perceive, and these are the different institutes where you can get yourself skilled, polished, and then you can decide your frontier.
Yeah.
Manasvi, you are on mute here.
Okay, so I am a fresh optometry graduate. So what would you suggest that I do to enhance my skill and knowledge on optometry? Mr. Usman.
Yeah. See, say, Manasvi, you said you are a fresh optometry graduate, correct? That means now you are at 2021 and now you want to pursue your career in optometry. I'm just giving an example, correct? And you want to make a career in optometry. So now you should be very clear what you want to go ahead with. Clinical optometry, that is hospital-based practice, or a business with an optical, or you want to join an academia, or you want to go to the foreign studies or higher studies out of India or in India. So now you are choosing a platform for your own self after UG. So now you have to narrow down your thought process. What is your aim and objective as an optom? What is your key focus? And once you do that, now you have to research in that line where you're going to get yourself skilled, more better skilled in that area, more better thinking or more better competency based understanding for that particular program, and then opt for it. You should not go way here because your 4 friends are going for clinical, you also go for clinical. After 6 months of joining a clinical internship or say residency, you say no, mujhe ye nahi karna tha. And then you turn back somewhere else. And somewhere you are found you are lost in your career and you're losing time too. Correct? So here itself you have to develop, you have to understand what you have to plan for. Say for example, you are planning for an optical business or a business. So at 21, after doing your UG, you are not skilled to handle your business. You are an optom, you do a good refraction. You have not learned anything about inventory management. You have not done about how to manage the team at optical outlet. So now you have to pursue something at higher level from PG diplomas in management, PG diplomas in particular disciplines, and then understand how the marketing strategies work, how the business strategies work, business administration work, and then you have to put yourself into stores. Because we are seeing nowadays many stores are opening and closing within 6 months or a year time because support of knowledge is lacking. They have a knowledge of optometry, but the full wholesome knowledge of business administration is missing. So that is how you have to improvise. You have to develop yourself from what goal, what you have to achieve as your optometry practice.
Manashwi,
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like Valarmati to add a few points and then I want to make some statements.
Okay. For this, I think, Manasvi, you should sit back and reflect on your skills and knowledge first step. You should grade yourself. You will be a best critic for yourself. If you are really, you think you are skilled enough in doing a clinical practice, then residency is not your choice. If you are not very confident in handling any of the cases given to you, then I think you should go in for a residency program, be it 6 months or 1 year program. Get yourself, go into a best institute which has a lot of patient flow, and that gives you not only patient flow, that is going to give you an hands-on experience. If they are not going to allow you to touch your patients, then that is not the place for your residency. So you need to choose what you want and what you want to achieve. And if you know that you are skilled, you have a lot of patient experience, you want to be an academician, you want to do research, you want to have your startups coming up in the near future, then you should go in for master's degree. Even for entering the master, if you think that your knowledge base is not that much great for your masters, then you can pick any of the fellowships in the area of interest. Otherwise, go just deep into the masters, strive and work hard. Wherever you are going, you will have to have a good knowledge base. You should develop your skill base, and then you're out there to be a performer. That is what I think should be your choice of action.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
before
Raghu.
Aditya Bhai says, I'll just chip in one thing. Like
Yes, sir.
elders, very easy to say his advice, right? So the first thing is like my father, जो भी करते हो दिल लगा के मन लगा के करो. That's the first thing.
So just to stop you right there. At this point of time, we do not really know man kis pe lagta hai. So
yeah, so that's right. But what you need to really know is you are mature adults, right? No, man किसी पे लगा लो, वो मेरी बस की बात नहीं है. Like, you can go propose and keep on looking for man लगाने पे. What I am saying is that passion, right? I like to do this work. I'm good at that. Is one very important aspect. My good friend Valarmati ma'am has raised up. First thing is introspect yourself and see where your strengths are. But the second thing that I see at a very young age is I want my students or anybody graduating to look at a 10-year plan or what do you want to be, right? After 10 years, right? You look at that, okay? Because there are good examples. See, when 1983, Dr. Aditya is the first batch of 4-year degree professional optometry. They were only looking at the Westerner examples. But today, you are at an era where we have a good heritage of optometrists who have created, okay, their own paths, and I have done my bit to create my own path of things. So this all comes with passion. A good example, I think, after Aditya sir chips in, is a good example is Venkataramana sir. I adore him. He started into a private practice career. He was excelling in that. Okay, he was the KVKL Opticals was going into multiple chains actually. Business-wise, they were very good, but then it driven on passion. So you drive not just on opportunity, it's passion. I want to be. Okay, can I really, you don't need to mimic Aditya sir or mimic Ramesh. No, that's not what I'm asking for, right? Like even I advise our own children say, don't be like me. You have to have your own individuality. That is what Valarmati was really identified your own individuality. That is a skill, jitne bhi age mein ho. You're 20 years coming out, you have to first look at apna individuality kya hai. Mera strength and weaknesses kya hai. Uske mutabik then you look at, okay, this is a good stream. Let me explore. And jo bhi karte ho, again, advice. Jo bhi karte ho, man laga ke karo, dil laga ke karo. Enjoy every moment of the time you spend with any of these opportunities. Because learning is there at every little place that we are in, right? Say, for example, now I'm into a different thing. I'm an entrepreneur. I've done my startup. I'm learning on innovations and things. PhD kiya, postdoc kiya. No, my passion is towards, okay, hey, there's an opportunity. Let me do something. Okay, so it's a lifelong learning again. So that's the openness that you should have. But very important thing, as Usman ji said, as a gumke, like, go to every flower and say, nahi, nectar wahan pe nahi hai, that's not the way I'm talking about. Passion doesn't go like that, right? Okay, it goes with, okay, I want to be that, try it hard, succeed in it. Try to succeed in that, love it, okay? That's a very important thing. Now, to both the experts, I want Aditya and even Venkataramana sir, when you read this profile.
Before Aditya, I'll add one thing.
Yeah.
Before Aditya sir, I'd like to add, Manasvi, not only identifying your passion is important, but identifying your mentor is more important. If you don't have a mentor, then you will have to travel a very long way
Long path.
towards your
Yes,
passion.
Guruji
But
ban
if
gaya.
you really have a good mentor who can guide you on the path, then you are easy on your path, because we all had a very tough time, but before we identified our mentor. But once we identified our mentor, yes, we know where we are going and how to go and reach that path. So my piece of advice for a young graduate is have some mentor first, and at the same time you should be your self critic. If you're not you're not skillful, say that I'm not skillful and I would like to gain. If you don't have the knowledge, say I'm not knowledgeable enough and I would like to gain. That's the way to move on, I think. Sir.
Okay. Manesh,
Guruji.
now let me ask you a question. You have been asking us questions. Let me ask you a question. Was that question meant for you or
Yes, sir.
somebody else?
Right now, I am representing a lot of graduates who've just recently passed out or are looking forward to their graduation, because this is a common thing that most of us are facing right now.
So if you really ask me about yourself,
I am.
for you, I would say that you should get into optometric journalism. You are doing a fantastic work
That's
as
that's a new line actually.
yeah. So
Probably,
there's
yeah, you should
Yeah,
really think
Venkataraman
about
sir
it.
will bring in another 6 months time.
Yeah.
You will have a course there.
there's something called medical journalism. So you'll become
Yeah,
you'll
that's
do
true.
very, very well in that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's
Okay. And what Usman mentioned, I would like to add one more thing. He said clinical hospital based. I would also like to add clinical private based. You could start your own private clinics. Ramna had his clinic. He was doing fabulously well. And one of the few people who started a comprehensive eye examinations in the country. We had Rekhi a few years back, couple of weeks back. He was the first person in India to start a private comprehensive eye care clinic. So it's not necessary that if an optometrist starts a private, should I say, clinic, it should be opticianry. It can be without opticianry. Today, what I do in my private practice is absolutely zero opticianry. I do not do opticianry. So it really depends on what you want to do. Like what Ramesh said, dil se karo, man se karo, and whatever makes you happy, do that. And whatever does not make you happy, kick it. Don't follow it, because there's no point. You're not going to like it. You're not going to put your heart and soul into it. Now, I would like to ask all the panelists one question. There's something called a burnout factor. We all say you do refraction. बहुत आसान है कहना refraction. You keep doing refractions, you keep doing your slit lamp examination, but how long can you go about doing it?
yeah.
So the burnout factor, it's there in clinical practices, and most of us who have done or into PhD, we know after the first year is a romantic period where you love your PhD, and then second year you think you kya kar raha hu, and the third year is almost the burnout period where it comes. So this is the kind of, there is a beautiful graph on everything. So burnout is a phase of things, but if you start pivoting on to understanding, okay, hey, what am I learning out of this? Say, okay, so that's where this whole thing goes. Like, it's not just on the commercial, because I've not done my independent practice in optometry, so I would more restrain my discussion on this very good question on aspects of research. So what is that if a student of optometry doing a PhD in our team or anywhere across the globe is looking at this, key aspect is they have to create certain competencies to it. So the burnout happens on their regular research question. But what we do is, okay, now let me write for more research grants. That is another skill that you're developing. So you break this monotony by adding more and more layers onto your competency as a researcher. Okay, so for example, my student, Mr. Gopinath, he worked with Shankar. So what we do is we send them for internship or research collaborations across institutes. We send them for international collaborations and things. So this breaks the monotony of that burnout aspects in research. So if you are taking up research, it's not just a question, Leah. The difference between UG, PG research and PhD research is PhD is not finding eureka moment. You're not going to innovate and say, hey, I found buoyancy. No, you are showing a competency of taking a question or a research gap and doing in a well structured way to find out that I have the discipline and competency to do that whole scientific activity to address a research problem. But during this time, burnout, some people happens after 6 months. Some of them can sustain after 1 year. If it extends beyond 4 years, it becomes really challenging. How do you break this burnout in PhDs? By taking up a lot of fellowships, international exposure. Okay, taking up research competencies into grant writing. Your publication is one monotony breaker for in research and things like that. So if you are looking at a career after a young graduate of optometry wants to come into a research career, okay, ready with burnout, be prepared for burnout. Burnout is the basic lessons of life. You always get those heartbreaks. You have this flux. Okay, not every day is going to be beautiful, but you have to have the sustenance altogether. And in research career, you need to really focus on developing competencies that I want to show that at my master's work can be published. I can, like how you are good in journalism is what I see, and the way you're looking at, that is one aspect that we need to look in. So in research, you have to have the competency to write a scientific writing. You need to be ready to learn to write for grants, explore international collaboration, see how you want to be as a researcher. At the end of your PhD, you should be able to provide, you'll be able to write for grants and become a PhD mentor. Okay, those are the competencies that I would want to develop in my PhD students. Okay, so these are burnouts from the research point of view. Now we have a whole panel of clinicians who will talk about that aspect of burnout after refraction. Because I don't have
clinical burnouts. Clinical burnouts is also one place where it will help you to tune into an all-rounder in optometry. So what happened is I have my own experience that I would like to share. So immediately when I joined Shankar Netralaya, first 1 year I did refraction only. Refraction in glaucoma, refraction in cornea, refraction in retina. So after that, oh, tired, what I do? Oh, I'll take a new thing. I jumped into ocular prosthesis. Once that prosthesis, 1 year it went until I explored everything in prosthesis. Okay. After this, I thought this is not my cup of tea. So what I did, I jumped into contact lenses. Then I also did my master's in contact lenses. After I finished contact lenses, how long I am going to clean this and put it on the eye? I am not ready for this job. I want something challenging every day that I would like to have. That's where I discovered binocular vision and vision therapy. So now this vision therapy is really interesting, that it is going to make you stand away from all the other regular optometrists. It's very few people are practicing, and the amount of patient satisfaction you give, amount of different things that you see day in and day out. It's not the same SL59 that I am going to clean and put and remove and give it back to the patient. No. So this burnout is really a good thing. And if you are able to recognize and you want to burn out of it, then you will become a real good clinician. How about others' experience?
I feel burnout is like polishing a diamond. Everybody has a zeal to perceive something in a profession, and burnout always shines him to a particular aspect, particular achievement, what he wants. Because till you are not burnt out for particular points, you will not know what you are trying to get into your life or into your profession. So burnout is जरूरी है. जब तक ये burnout नहीं होगा, चटका नहीं लगेगा, तब तक मतलब बोरियत भी नहीं होगी, तब तक आप आगे नहीं जाओगे. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है.
वाह उस्ताद.
Professor Venkataramana.
Yeah, best person to help us understand that. His life is an example.
See, it's at the age of 21, it is very difficult for a young man.
Venkataramana, sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Hello, Professor Venkataramana.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Better now, sir.
Sorry, my data got burnt out. So I switched.
So even that burnt.
Like at the age of
Even that burns out, yeah.
yeah. It is very adolescent to really concentrate which side, which way they want to go in. But yes, something they have to take a decision and pursue further. And of course, in the career graph, a stage comes where things gets burnt out. Like it happened with me. I thought when I graduated, I thought the main aim I had at that is to learn. So I had been to LVP, did fellowship, did research, joined the contact lens research team, blah, blah, blah. Then the choices change with life. Then I thought money is important. So I went to, Botswana, South Africa, and then earned money. Then I thought independency is more important. So came back to India, started my own practice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I thought after 16 years of private practice, it got burnt out. So I thought, I heard my friends saying, I'm a good researcher. So I thought, why don't I start doing PhD? So I thought, okay, then I enroll in PhD. I thought, let me explore academics and research. But it's very difficult to explore each and everything in one's life. It doesn't, jamta nahi hai sabko, it's not that easy to, the better way is concentrate on one field, reach peak in that. Like probably what I would say, like you want to be a clinician, yeah, start a practice, you be a clinician, then upgrade your skills by doing these fellowships, PG programs, or other integrated courses, like as I was telling you, research. You can add on what, as Ramesh was telling, you can add on as a layers of knowledge. You stick on to one basic line of interest and don't start adding. Once a stage comes where, yes, it happens, burnout happens, and then you keep adding it on. So that's how I advise the students.
So, for a fresh optometry graduate like me, what would you suggest we do to enhance our skills and knowledge in optometry?
Hey, Manashwi, let me answer something for you. There was a specific reason why I asked this burnout factor thing. Now, in our subcontinent, we have a thing like at 21, you complete your graduation. 23, 24, you complete your post-graduation, then you possibly do another fellowship. And then what after that?
Settle.
So the reason why I brought that burnout factor was you could start your practice, you could get into hospital, you could get into, so there's no, it should not be like this leads to this leads to this. You could take your fellowship at the age of 40, you could take the fellowship at the age of 50. There should not be any age limitation.
Age limitation,
Like,
yeah.
Ramana developed his flair for research. I think he must have been around 40 at that time.
40, yeah, exactly 40.
Exactly 40. So why should you have any age limitations or restrictions? So like what Ramesh was talking, what you like, you start doing that. So today, Valar liked contact lenses initially. Then she thought, okay, fine, I lose an interest in contact lenses. Let me shift to something else. She tried different things. And then finally she found her heart and soul in vision therapy, which she practices today. probably another few years down, she might find something, maybe myopia research or myopia control more interesting. She might go into that.
Sports vision.
Pardon?
Sports
vision,
vision.
yeah.
Fitness.
So why I brought that particular point was burnout is very essential for you to learn more. And that is where you're going to start proceeding further. So don't look at your life as, those predefined stages or predefined cubicles
The
in which
mapped
you are.
out life.
Yeah.
Or unidirectional. Don't look into
Yes.
unidirectional, multi-dimension.
See, if I may add in, this is a very good thing that gives me an introspect now. When I passed out in 2001, I worked at, I had a good fortune of being 10 years as a research optometrist at Shankar Netralaya. I was a research fellow at Chennai Glaucoma Study. So I invested. What is very important, at the time, it was a learning phase of investment. I started learning about research. I interacted with one of the best researchers in the globe, Dr. Lingam Gopal, Dr. Vijaya, Dr. Ranija, Dr. Kumaramanikvel. I had exposure to genetics. I had exposure to all these. So this was a 10-year-long investment. And during that time, I also capacity built myself, did my master's, PhD. I didn't stay as an optometrist just as a technical person collecting data. I wanted to capacity build. And leadership, very important thing in every aspect is you as a young optometrist should really zeal or tune yourself to become a leader in whatever you want to do. The leadership is a skill that it inherently starts building up, and that needs to be sharpened with with that burnout is making you a better leader in your own domain. It's not to prove to anybody else, but yeah, am I a leader in this area? How as Venkataramana said, I have to really excel, be at the top of what I'm trying to do. And then when you get opportunities, you pivot on. See, now my journey doesn't have this burnout kind of a thing, but now I'm carving. Now I take control of what I want to do. So I did my epidemiology research. I learned certain competencies and skills. I have my publication that gave me a boost to my academic career. So when I got into MAHE, Manipal Academy, I got into a respectable position. Today, now I'm going into research of innovations. I have patents. That was not known to me when I just heard a name called patents and things at Shankar Netralaya when I started my PhD career. But today, I own my patents. I have, and these patents are getting commercialized too. What is very important is that those are all competencies. It's a life of experience. So now I work with interdisciplinary team of researchers. For example, one of our research work is with mechanical engineering team. So my team as an expertise in optometry, we talk about contact lenses. So I bring in experts from mechanical engineering team who are good in assessing friction. So now at MAHE, we are developing nano contact lens surfaces for measuring friction when you blink. So this is where I blend in our competency as optometrists, work with interdisciplinary team, and build up the research. That is of the nature that we only looked at Westerners, what we were looking at, these research happen only in US and things. Article, we look at the quality of research happening in certain very good institutes. One of my very good colleague, Dr. Shrikant and his team, fabulous research work, right? So these are examples that we take up and we are blending in. We are pushing ourselves to a higher level. The very important thing is introspecting and keep on that, because that self-introspection is the key for you to become a better leader every day, better person every day in your professional career. Second thing, have a passion and invest in that whatever decision you take. Don't just be bhataktev atma. Okay, don't just be a bhataktev atma going from one place to other. That is something that is not. You invest yourself and be best in that. Okay, so that's the basic advice, because it's very, very difficult question you have asked, Manasvi. What do you want us to become? Yeah, you should know what you want to be. When my students ask, sir, can I write to that professor? Before you write to a professor, you should know what all he has done. Have you done that homework? Simply can't write to the best of the best professors, Professor Mark Wilcox, who's an epitome in contact lens, say, Professor Mark, I want to work on contact lens. Hey, what is you want to work on contact lens? Well, you should have read through his research work. You should have really prepared. I like this concept of antimicrobial coating on contact lenses. That is really interesting me, because That is one thing I see post-COVID, there is a very good implications. I would want to be part of this journey and become competent. Those clarity you should gain, and don't ask us for that. Because you're adults. Okay? Legally, you want that freedom, we gave you that freedom after 18. So now it's you who has to come out with that. I want this to happen, and invest in your time into it, you know. Don't be, okay, 1 year, this fruit is sour. Because that's what burnout is. Burnout is going to happen every day. I don't want to go to work. Yeah, that is a burnout. But don't lose heart. Push yourself. Like, you know, you go to a gym, my gym practitioner makes me push that extra last mile. Come on. That's what is very important. Right.
So to summarize, introspection, then we find our passion, and then we work for it. Did I summarize it correctly?
Yeah.
Time, your work is the investment. Sir, did we answer your question, burnout? That was after you have gone into a spiritual mode, Aditya, like, you know, Valar and Aditya took this to a different standpoint. Yeah.
You know, Manashwi, a very interesting thing happened with me when I joined my post-graduation in optometry. I did my post-graduation pretty late in my life. So when I was with some of my professors, I was having a few drinks with two of my professors. One was Dr. Mladenovic. Derek was 20 years younger to me. And I was with another person, Leonard Messner. He was 40 years older than me. And three of us were having drinks in the evening after classes.
3 generations.
3 generations. So, I mean, during the discussions, they asked, why, what have you been doing all this while? So, general optometry. Now, what is this general optometry? So I said, regular refractions, contact lenses, a little bit of binocular vision, a little bit of low vision. Next question was, how long have you been doing this? Okay, almost about 15 years now. And how long will you do this? I said, till the time I practice optometry. Okay, then why are you doing masters? Interesting question. Okay, fine. I said, well, to learn more. So, but why do you want to learn more? You're going to do your general refraction, general this, general that. Why do you want to learn more? I said, well, I want to do something more, but then you don't want to do anything extra. So why do you want to learn more? Why do you want to? And for Americans, it is money counts a lot, and it was quite an expensive program. So it was like, why are you spending this much of time, money, and your energy in this if you just want to continue doing that? Okay, then I पूरा वो बोतल उतर गई दिमाग से. I said, ठीक है, okay, now you tell me what I should do, like what you just asked me. I said, no, we are the wrong people to answer that question because we don't understand your society, we don't understand your culture. But then normally what are you doing if you continue doing this? What is happening to the people who are coming behind you, your juniors? What will they do? If you continue doing refractions, if you continue doing your simple contact lenses, what will those people do? So the reason why you're doing this program in masters, I did a master's in clinical optometry. So the reason why you're doing this is because that will lead you to more clinical skills. So you get into higher level clinical work and let your juniors, the people who are coming behind you, let them do the regular refractions and then they get into your bandwagon. One very interesting thing they said was, whatever you're doing clinically, pass it on to others. That is where academics come in. I may not be a great teacher as such, I may not have the teaching skills, but then I can always mentor somebody. That also is teaching. I can teach XYZ, I can teach refractions, I can teach possibly vision therapy. So those are the things. So get into some amount of academics, because whatever the profession has given you, you need to give it out to your younger generations. And over a period of time, you get into administration. So my career has gone the same way. I was doing my clinical work, then I got into a bit of academics and continue doing my clinical work. I got into some amount of mentorship. I do teach a bit, then got into administration, and then yeah, you are around the age what I am, and you say bye bye to the world. So this is how, and I found it very interesting when they mentioned that. And I think if you really want to enjoy your career as optometrist, you should think in those terms rather than, listen to what I have to say or any of us have to say. Follow your passion, and this should be the way you should give to your younger generations what you have gained in your life.
Dr. Aditya.
Yeah, sorry, Manasvi.
Yes,
So I
yes, sir,
think
please continue.
one beautiful thing that this students who are passing out now in 2021, 2020, in the last decade have is opportunities in India are so immense. Research opportunities, clinical opportunities.
Correct.
Okay, so you are the most blessed generation, and we are. And the as Aditya said, I said we have a responsibility to provide even better environment of learning. You as leaders, when you take up your clinical, you show your proficiency, you have the core responsibility. You can do it in academia platform like a higher education institute, like where Balar ma'am or myself and Venkataramana sir are there. But even your own clinic, you are a professor, you're a teacher, right? So one key aspect that is very important is the opportunities are immense. Okay, so that is the beauty that you have today. Okay, one other opportunity that I thought because we have taken an hour's time now, so one aspect that is bubbling up now, and that's I believe is going to grow is the startup ecosystem in this Southeast Asian region, especially India and Nepal and surrounding regions. In India, if you would know, BIRAC is one of the agencies that have supported very good grants, and our startup is also funded by them. So there are at least 17 startups who are in eye area, in ocular related startups. I'm not talking about MNC companies like Zeiss and things. Those are SLR and that is into sales and marketing profession, but into innovation, into putting your ideas of, oh, I want to develop. I have this passion. I understand eye and the vision system. And there are startups who need mentoring or support. So another career opportunity that pops up to a young optometrist who has a flair towards supporting and generating, what are the main aim of startup is generating employability and improving the economy from their own. They take up the leadership and they don't wait for somebody to hire, but they provide opportunities. So that is one area where this generation, and I'm really proud that, you are an area where you have fabulous opportunities. Okay, there are people who are developing indigenous intraocular lenses, contact lenses, devices. So those are another area that if you feel, wow, that is beautiful, then you should approach these startups and also look into, say to them, because they may not be able to pay you high, but you will be an integral part of the system in developing innovative solutions. That is another opportunity that pops up. So I thought I'll table that also.
Mr. Venkataramana, you wanted to say something about this?
Yeah, like what I would say, I think I'm repeating the same thing actually. It's at the age of 21, it's tough. You have to you have to look out the opportunities, your areas of interest at that age while you are doing your internship or probably the third year itself. Then start developing upon. That's how I would suggest all the younger students now.
I think young generation should start up with networking. Like this, you will have to get connected with all the people across. That's the only way you can find out what is interesting. Okay, networking is the key of the day.
And get Manashwi to moderate it.
Yeah. Optometrist journalist.
We will see about that, sir.
Yeah. So Manasvi, adding to that, like what Varamati ma'am is saying is a beautiful thing, because that is one opportunity that students, fresh graduates have. you could take up. So,
Yeah,
for example, one of my
that's true.
faculty,
Yeah.
I connected with Aditya sir. They wanted to get into the area of binocular vision, especially in developmental, in the behavioral optometric practice. So we want to establish that. Just calling him for 1 day workshop is just asking you say hi. Okay, going for conferences is a fun time, but our faculty spent time with him. Two of our faculty spent 1 month with him. That is an opportunity. Even like so you should look at this networking, grow it to okay. You want to come and see what we are doing? Ask for. You can come to Mahe, spend some time with our research team, see whether that is an environment that interests you. Like that's the practice they do in US and all. If I really envy my friends, children who are brought up there. In your 10th itself, you are supposed to be in an optometry clinic and have your CV built up if you want to get an admission into optometry. Okay, so if you want to become a engineer, a 10th during your schooling, the student should have really showed that interest that I know that I want to be I know what I'm going to end up doing. That kind of opportunity in our systems don't expect that. We can't change the education system at 8th standard. That's not what we are here for. But post optometry, you have this gold mine today. You want to go work with Dr. Shrikant Bharadwaj Lily Prasad? Write to him. There are short-term summer fellowships available. Not only with him. For example, in IIT Madras, my good friend and a senior to me in optometry, Dr. Jay Kishan, he's heading a center for computational brain research. An optometrist, Dio, he and his wife, Dr. Richa, are both optometrists trained from Australia. LH school trained, but they went in did their doctorate from Australia. But today they are leading a research in mapping the whole brain. So can you see, sky is the limit, dear. The only thing is, there is this networking. Oh wow, there is somebody who's doing brain research, and that is a consortium, that is global consortium where people are putting in artificial intelligence to understand how the brain works. Right? If you as an optometrist want to learn more, you should take a small fellowship with them or go observe with them. Okay, so that is where Valarmati ma'am's very good point is networking. Okay, clinical is one core, because I am sorry that in this whole contribution, I'm not going to talk about clinical because I really have not been really contributing in my clinical services so far. But if you look at it in the research point of view, that's where my whole dialogues are towards research and building your career in this field, because that's one competency that I'm happy that I'm actually, I can vouch for what I've done and that builds in. So this networking is very important. Similarly, you have the strength of being in the clinics of Professor Aditya, Mr. Raiki, okay, or with any such stalwarts, beautiful clinics, be there. Okay, don't just start up an independent practice. Go there, see what they do. Understand, as Usman ji said, what are the nuances in running a business? Okay, instead of just jumping in and starting, spend time. That networking is very, very important, and investing time, because what you're going to give is only your time. Your time is the key.
That's an interesting point, Dr. Ramesh. Mr. Usman, you have been awfully quiet. Do you have anything to add here?
Manasvi, I would just summarize thing that what your plan or agenda for the day was, what after BS optometry.
Yes.
And probably we are sharing our experiences, because we can hold your finger and say, go to clinical optometry, go to research, go to academia, or do XYZ thing. For that, a digging, hunting, research at your end is very much important. And as other people and ma'am has said, sky is the limit. You can connect to different professions and bring something new. Optometry and brain mapping. Optometry and once you can give a new look to what you want to do. So perspective can change, correct? So that is what we should for.
Thank you, Mr. Usman. I would like to ask you another question. So, like Dr. Aditya has rightly pointed out, we are in the habit of, following a mapped out strategy for life. So most of the students these days go behind certification rather than enhancing their skills and knowledge. This is
Yeah.
something that we observe a lot in our society. So how can we improve this scenario, in particular in the optometry field?
If I'm not wrong, for past 1 hour, all five of us have been saying about polishing your skills. Certifications are probably going to be on the wall. Nobody is going to ask you what are your grades. What you're going to get paid and what you're going to gain as a satisfaction would be with in respect to what skill you have and how you have either managed your business at the end of day, you have managed your patient at the end of day, how you have taught your students at the end of day, or how you have imparted knowledge what you have or exchange knowledge with what you have. So this is what is the base and core we should keep in mind as an professionals. What others can they say on this?
No, while this is true, we do put a lot of emphasis on, degrees or PhDs or whatever the things that we have achieved in academics, like the degrees basically. So how do you think we can improve this scenario?
Honestly, if you can rephrase, like, if I can, the way I understand it is like, okay, a professional upgrading through certification and masters and things, like, beautifully said by Aditya sir also. If you take up research, for example, a PhD is a mark of, like, earlier it was said as PhD. My founding dean, Dr. Ashok, will say it's the height or the pinnacle of education, the highest degree an academician can get. But the way now to this generation, okay, currently what we say is that's the starting point of your academic career. Okay, if you want to get into institutions of eminence like Manipal Academy or University of Hyderabad or any globally reputed institute, university optometry positions, we do not take without PhD. Okay, so a PhD becomes your start point of getting into a serious academia career. Okay, with all due respect to all other academia things, but what I mean to the word serious I used in this aspect, like a life where you're going to dedicate yourself to doing research as part of your daily bread and living activity. You're going to ensure that you are providing very good academic enhancement along with clinical training. Okay, so research is the key in most of the higher education institutes. And now MAHE, as an institute of eminence, we have made a policy that optometry faculties who join us now will have minimum PhD degrees. So today in my department, we are a team of 11 of us, okay, and we have 3 PhDs already with us, and all the remaining faculties, about 6 of them are registered for PhD at MAHE now. So your career starts with the doctorate level, okay. So that is something that you have to really look at if you're looking at a career in higher education institutes like MAHE or say in case of University of Hyderabad. If you are an assistant, you will not get into a professor position in the Central University of Hyderabad. That is the University of Hyderabad optometry courses. You have to have a PhD. That's the beginning. Okay, so these are some things that are very important for you to really look at. Is this a career I want to be in? And these certifications are basic necessity to show that these are showing that, yeah, I'm competent. One checkbox is ticked off. Yeah, Ramesh can do this. He has shown he has finished his PhD, so he is capable of doing research. But then on, to survive and grow in my institute, I need to perform. So every day it's a performance appraisal for each one of us.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Let's wake Dr. Aditya up and ask him what does he think about students going behind certification more than their skills and knowledge, and the trend of giving more value towards the degrees.
Yeah, see, the basic degrees are essential. I would definitely say a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or whatever is essential for a person to get into a legal practice. Whether you're working somewhere or you're starting on your own, a basic degree is essential. As far as adding those XYZ behind your names is concerned, unless you add to your knowledge and skills, which knowledge plus skills makes competency, unless they add to your competency, they are of no use. And if they do add to your competencies,
Ms. Valarmati, what would you like to say to this?
Manasvi, what Usman ji said is your inner strength. What Ramesh pointed out is your outer beauty. End of the day, if you want to shine as your face, you need to have. At the same time, you should develop your skill as well. Okay, it's not just because I'm skillful in my university, they are not going to recognize me unless and until I have some 3 letters behind my name. Okay, so your certificates speak most of the time before you speak. You put yourself in forward. Okay, so certificates are essential at the end of the day.
Professor Venkataramana, what would you say to this?
Yeah, certificates are important, but knowledge is also equally important. Skills. So I always ask one question. One of my guides used to ask, is the certificate is more important, or the knowledge you have in the subject is more important? So yes, as Aditya was telling, for legalities, yes, certificate is important. The basic certificate like a UG, PG is important. After that, it's the knowledge which matters. That's what my take on that. So
Manasvi, if
Yes.
I may just chip in, one very important thing. See, it's relatively easier in research career to showcase your competency. See, if I publish, keep on publishing in high reputed journal, if I have an capability of writing for grants, these are testimonial for me that I am showcasing my competency. I'm delivering my competency, not just stopping with my PhD degree. So just a PhD is not enough. Then I went into my postdoc.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So I need to perform by, that's a leadership aspect that comes in, right? It's not just to impress any of my subordinates or anything. It's the passion that drives, right? Okay, I want to do this. And why do I publish? Publishing is like journalism. It's like communicating. Like, it's not the end of research. Nothing grows in your head. You're just going to get a way that I'm doing this research, I'm communicating. So this is very easy in a research aspects. Because you can just Google and find out, hey, is Ramesh bluffing or not? He said 55 papers. You can just Google and find my name into it, and there are proofs. Or you can do a real, not just Google. I would more go with more stronger evidence, like go to PubMed, or you can search for my research career. Can you do the same thing for your clinical competency? How will somebody know that Aditya sir has got this clinical skills or clinical acumen that he has, right? Very difficult, right? Unless and until you know him personally, with a global population of over 7 billion population, how will you know each other is doing like that? So research is the easier quantifiable measure, right? That's why if you look at global rankings for any university, they give more weightage to research because that is quantifiable. Is how many faculty in a doing research? It's evidence there. But how good I teach is something that can only be seen if you attend my class. Am I right? How can I show that I'm a good teacher? If I get a fellowship and pass that fellowship in medical education, that is adding to my flair that being in academia, I also add my skill. I continue to learn my art of teaching. That shows the passion towards teaching. Do you understand that? Am I resonating? Similarly, if you're in a clinical profile, right? His business or things people might not know. Why should I go and know about how much of revenue he's making? No, I'm not interested in Aditya's revenue, but I would like to know what number of cases he has done. Where is the showcase that you can do, right? Where can he show that, this is the kind of patients I take care? A very, very beautiful clinic where his wife is a pediatric physiotherapist. He's a neuro optometrist. They provide fantastic care for children at need. How do we showcase this? Fellowships. These are, again, comes to branding. In one other way, each one of us are selling, man. Even today, I'm selling my head certain points. Everything is about sales. You need to really put in front and show that I'm doing this. So at a very early career, don't waste your money and friends into getting certificates alone.
Exactly.
Drive yourself to competency. That's what in this whole discussions, all of us have been talking about one word: competency. Knowledge, skill, attitude, passion. All four comprising into driving you to be competent in whatever you want to do, right? Just a bottom advice mein diya tha.
So if I have to summarize what you just said, you would advise the graduates to really find their passion before they pursue for any further degrees. Otherwise, it is just a waste of time. Am I right in saying this?
Not a waste of time. Everything is a learning. But one thing
experience.
I want to
Everything is
network,
experience.
adding to what Valar ma'am has said, network. If you don't find your passion, don't disregard yourself. Because when I graduated at 2001, I didn't know, when I joined optometry, I didn't know why I joined optometry, right? Because my dad asked me to, I joined optometry, right? That's how it happens. That's how our culture is. And at the end of it, I got into a research career. Nobody thought in my class that I will become a researcher. Even today, they look at me and my own sister says, Ramesh, you finished your PhD. Yes, ma'am. You're not regarded by your 10th grade or your 8th standard marks or 12th marks in life. Okay, don't worry about that. So today you're passed out. Hey, that student has got a very good passion. Don't worry. You have to experience that and take up your passion. Network. Spend some time with people. Like very good word. What Valarmati ma'am said is mentor. Find your mentor. Be with them. Spend some time. I want to go into this. Okay, taste the flavor and then do something innovative so that you can prove yourself you are going to be there for long.
Dr. Aditya, we talked about how your conversation with the seniors regarding general optometry that you were following and how the questions arose that what were you planning with it. So I would like to ask you here, how did you find your passion for specializing in binocular vision?
I had started practicing and doing binocular vision and vision therapy before that, before I got into this. So that's another very interesting story. My life is full of stories. So when I got married,
stories.
My wife started her clinic and she used to refer patients, all these small kids, to me, and all I knew was refraction. And I refracted, prescribed glasses, dispensed glasses, and they used to throw it away because those kids will never wear glasses. And that continued, and that led me to think, okay, fine, there should be something else because these kids require something, but then I'm not doing that. So that was a time where India, we had not heard of, I had been hearing something called vision therapy, but we did not know what vision therapy was. And we did not have a good internet at that time. We did not have, should I say, proper computers also at that time. A mouse was just about invented. So I started looking at and getting in touch with any of these Americans or Britishers was very difficult because there was no contact like what Ramesh is talking today.
Communication was
there was nothing. So I went to another bookshops, medical bookshops, and I found this great book by Dr. Scheiman. I was the first person in India to purchase that book. Can you make a wild guess at how much, at what cost I purchased that book?
30?
Sorry?
30?
30.
I don't know. We're talking about ancient times, I feel like.
I'm not ancient.
No.
Not yet expired. So,
like honey, sir.
So he was like, Ye wali kitab I have been having for almost about 3-4 years. Nobody purchases it. You take it for 20 rupees.
I'm close.
So I bargained on that also and got it for some 15 rupees or something. And when I went through that, started reading that book, but then I didn't understand because I had not seen any of those equipment which are picturized in that book. Scheiman talks about all those equipment. And over a period of time, I got in touch. So internet and communication improved and all those things improved. And then I started getting in touch and made good friends in US and started practicing. Thoda sikha. And over a period of time, yeah, I developed that. But then, yeah, it was today it's a lot more straightforward where we can talk to you about vision therapy, what we are. We have the equipment, we have people who are dealing with those equipment, we have the knowledge, and obviously the communication levels are much better as compared to those. You can just pick up the phone and speak to anybody and anywhere across the world. Like you're in Nepal and five of us are in different places in India, and we are communicating. So things were a little different at that time. I won't say difficult, but a little different. But that's how I got into binocular vision therapy. And I think those kids are slightly happier now as compared to what I used to do with the glasses. They were, I was just giving them glasses. They were throwing them away in, they'll just take the glass, put it in my hand and walk away.
Ms. Valarmati, so you are a senior lecturer at Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research. Am I right, ma'am?
Yeah.
And you have MPhil to your name. So how does MPhil help an optometrist, and what does it give an optometrist in career?
See, MPhil is one point where it's a gateway to your higher education. That's it. Okay, so if you want to have a career in academics, if you want to put your step in academics, you want to do research, you want to pursue your PhD doctoral programs, then that is going to be a gateway. Of course, it is going to add some value to your knowledge, understanding of the basic stuffs. It's going to add knowledge. There's no doubt about that. And depending on what type of optometry you're going, MPhil program, it's a research program or a clinical program, you will learn more. Okay, so that's the period I became a competent in my contact lenses, right from normal soft contact lenses to scleral lens fitting. We have done everything at Shankar Netralaya. So you will have today, even if you just give me your K reading, I can tell you this lens would fit for this patient, or this lens is not going to fit for to that level of knowledge and skill that you would gain in your program. So it's all about where you're doing the program and how you're doing the program is more important.
Manashwi, just to answer that question from the legal perspective, MPhil is a stairway to PhD, a step ladder to PhD.
It's an intermediate.
Okay. Yeah, intermediate to PhD. So when you look at it from the university perspective, let us say PhD is 3 years. So if you have completed MPhil, you just need to do 2 more years. So that is how the university or the UGC in India looks at MPhil.
Looks at it, yeah.
Sir, can I chip in? See, the MPhil program, which is not running now, was a different. Now you don't have many MPhils, to the best of my knowledge. See, the BITS Pilani had a unique program where they offered MPhil. So if you look at it, technically, if you're applying for a research position or anything, employability abroad, they'll say, without your master's, how did you go into MPhil, right? So what sir is taking is like, if somebody has to done a bachelor's, they do their master's and then MPhil. MPhil is almost a stepping stone into research career or into academia. But the terminology, how it came to the BITS, Pilani and Shankar Netralaya run program, which was the master's program, even I am one of the good candidates from that batch, is mainly a different combination wherein they had some nomenclature challenges and they brought in that aspect. So that is one batch that I think now we don't need to worry about an MPhil degree right away. So for a PhD eligibility, a master's is more than enough, okay, in any domain. But what is that? For example, now I have my colleague, Dr. Chondraj, has 2 research positions opened at his lab at Mahe, the visual psychophysics lab. So what we are looking at is we want students, optometry students with masters, preferably with competency, what Venkataramana sir told, with the programming skill, with Python, with the ability to communicate and show that flair towards publishing and things like that. So it is again what we are looking in when I hire you into a research position is your competency, how you as a candidate can show that you can publish, and do you have any other extra skills like what Venkataramana sir earlier shared, right? So I think the MPhil kind of a thing that we took up is not a correct benchmark for today's generation. Probably Aditya sir, you can chip in if I'm wrong, right? So that is
perfectly
something,
right, Ramesh. See, MPhil, what was running at Shankara Netralaya or Elite School of Optometry was more in lieu of a master's program.
That's more research oriented. Just for highly research.
So basically, like what Ramesh just mentioned, nomenclature issues were there or something. So they could not offer an MOptom or whatever. So instead of that, MPhil was issued, given. But what I mentioned was more legal perspective to MPhil. What is followed by the universities in India is that MPhil. So now anyway, we do not have any MPhil running in whether it
India.
is Shankara Netralia or anywhere. So we need not even talk about that. But currently, when we talk about MPhil, it is after masters into research program where it becomes a part of PhD. So you could do it's something like diploma and graduating on to do a degree. So you can do an MPhil, and after MPhil, your duration of
PhD is a very
PhD
short
is
duration.
reduced.
Yeah. So it's almost like a building up. For example, in
Yep.
University of Houston, they provide an integrated masters. You do your
Correct.
masters and then you finish off in 2 years your PhD. So during your masters in Houston University, you have finished your research, you have established what you want to do research. And if you want to exit out, you can exit out with masters. So those are kind of international models that are available. But the one at Shankara where we were part of it was more research focused. So I was specialized in the field of glaucoma. Okay. So that's a kind of specialty that was there. But now any masters is good. But more than masters, don't think that you'll get a PhD admission very easily just with the masters. You should have competency. Your masters research work should have been, you should know about what is publication, what is scientific communication. Today you have online courses where you can really learn about research methods and research methodologies and doing research very well, right? If you have done those kind of courses, that shows that though I am not published, but I have the passion to do. So your CV or your approach to a PhD interview should communicate that I am a candidate who's ready to take up a research career. So learn about research, getting into that is PhD is not just, okay, a degree at the end, right? It is a career starting, as I clearly said in the very beginning. And that is something you youngsters and we youngsters, why should I say you youngsters? We youngsters have to really believe in, because it's we are just starting our career as researchers.
Thank you.
Manasvi, to add on to Ramesh,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
and you were talking about certification, you can actually sit at home and have your certification done, and you can straight away go ahead with your PhD. You can have some credentials for your PhD. All these Coursera or NPTEL courses or Swayam online courses are there. If you really have one of those certificates, it's most valid. It's most valid, and your credentials really improve when you have those certificates. So it's not that you'll have to go into some university and read. You want to improve your research skills, you can as well sit at home and improve it with all this. And you can have a thing saying that you have improved through those certificates. So that will add on to your into your PhD entry.
So that is per se going to be the new norm, honestly. Post-COVID, like, universities like us, we recently our CEO gave a very good discussion in one of the news channels. Students might not be ready to come. We will not be able to accommodate. We're not able to start a course, though we have the physical infrastructure, right? It's going to be completely flipped classroom. So even as a clinician, okay, there are a lot of courses, not on clinical skills. I'm not for online clinical skills. That is to be barred. No. Okay, that is only through structured programs. Okay, but what about competency? Applying research, learning to do evidence-based practice is going to make you a better clinician. How to do that? Okay, how to do genetic counseling? You want to learn about any aspects of clinical aspects. What is gene therapy? Right? These are things that I escaped in 2001 when I did my internship. Somebody asked gene therapy, I would say, oh, sab research mein hai, abhi research mein hai, US mein kar rahe hain, abhi kuch nahi hai. No, that's not the case now. You guys are going to be ready to explain what is gene therapy, which is that gene that is responsible. So was it taught in B optometry? We had a coursework on genetics. It is not sufficient for us to pump in a 20-year-old with the whole aspects of genetics, engineering, biotechnology right away there. You would have run out of optometry, because that was not our core focus. But now you are getting into that, then Coursera gives you fantastic opportunities to learn about biotechnology, genetic engineering, gene therapy aspects. And then you take up that PG diploma courses at Eli Prasad, spend time with them, how they do the stem cells in cornea. Okay, those are things. So you become a niche in your own clinical practice. So I'm not only saying that you have opportunities only for research. That is one domain. Okay, but even as a clinician, you should learn to adopt research. That is what we do. A lot of courses, workshops we used to do from the Erasmus program that you said in my thing. We developed evidence-based practice. Why do we do so much research? Is to help the patient, right? Who's our customer? Is to translate whatever I do in my research. You as a clinician should be taking that to your practice. If that translation doesn't happen, so far what is happening is research is a separate pillar, clinicians are a separate pillar. But evidence-based practice is a skill that enables you to learn how to integrate research into your clinical practice.
So while we're at the topic of COVID era, and we've talked about how we can learn online and get certified online. So do you have any ideas about any courses that are going on for optometrists?
It's an open platform. Depending on your passion, you can take it up. You will only have to go to those websites, Coursera or NPTEL or Swayam websites. And it's just, if you want to get certified, I think it's only 1,000 rupees or so. And it's like a 6 weeks program, you have 4 weeks program, you have 8 weeks program, you have, there's a lot of programs. All that you need to do is just read through all the programs. What is the course they are offering? What is the subject they are going to touch upon? If you're interested, just register with the course and do it online.
So, for example, let us say.
Continue.
Yeah, for example, if a student wants to learn Python or MATLAB, probably they can look for online courses. Those are practically doable online comfortably, but not clinics oriented, not seeing patients and all. But these kind of programs, like as I said, image processing or bioethics, these are the different streams which can be integrated with optometry, where these certificate courses can be done through online itself.
So, Manasvi, if you look at it, the core of optometry or any optometry online program is not recommended at all.
Not recommended, exactly.
No, let us not.
No.
There's a lot of confusion in that. We already had a lot of problems, and we have the president and the secretary of ASCO here, and I've been serving with the team for over a decade. We have had those challenges, and we still might have mushrooming new courses. But let us not look at optometry as an online program. No. So answering your question, is there an online program optometry? Certain competencies, say some aspects of optometry can be taught. Say how to interpret an OCT, I can run a short certificate program. That is okay. But if you're going to say how to fit a scleral contact lenses, and I'm going to talk to you on online, or how to do ortho K and myopia control and other things online, it doesn't make sense. So the programs that we need to believe in are graduate training programs. So you have online courses to understand what is happening and the basics and our higher levels, but there should be a clinical postings and hands-on training program. So be very vigilant in selecting these programs as students, right?
Yeah.
So what we have been talking, myself, Venkataramana sir and Valarmati ma'am have been highlighting is, because it is not, optometry is a bread and butter, but we don't only eat bread and butter, right? We want biryani, we want everything, we want every flavors of us. We want to enjoy the whole momentum of being a professional, right? So to sharpen your professional skills, you don't need to worry about going to a course alone, right? So sitting at home, hey, I like this. Now you have online courses like all these, So there are also, for example, my master's students, they are taking up programs at IISc, Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, IIT Madras. So there are certain programs that they give as short-term residential thing in India. Previously, we used to run away. We used to do this only abroad. But now, these are extra things that are going to make me shine, okay? When I go for any job interview in the research part, or in clinical part and things like that. Okay, but online core training program in optometry, I'm not a person who would support it. I think Aditya would resonate to that, and if sir can help strengthen that argument, I would be happy.
Yeah, what I was saying was like what Valar mentioned, or Ramana mentioned, or Ramesh mentioned. These programs, when we are talking of, we are talking in terms of certain knowledge-based programs which we are learning and which we can integrate with our base optometry
Exactly.
competencies or
Yes.
knowledge. This is not to teach optometry as such, not to learn optometry. So if I say that, okay, fine, I'm going to teach entire contact lenses online, no, that's not the right approach, because you do require clinical knowledge and clinical base. So I will never say learn your base optometry online or optometry courses. So if you really look for Coursera and look for optometry courses, you'll find nothing. But in Coursera, suppose you want to look at genetics or something, yes, you will find, and you can integrate that with whatever you guys want to do.
Mr. Usman and Professor Venkataramana, you are fellow of IACL, am I right? So for an aspirant who wants to be a fellow, what would you suggest them, Mr. Usman?
Which is regulating. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's for an academic oriented people, as well as it's initially a membership which is given to an contact lens educator. So namely, it's an international association of contact lens educators. Correct? So educators would be then those educators, those educators set up the fellowship. So they have to take the online exams, to submit the online exams, the case reports, and then they have to appear for that fellowship examination, which is very, very tough. And then you clear as a failed vehicle. Correct? So it is not for a common person. Yes, there is an associate membership available for contact lens industry people, and they have to pass through the same channel. So membership is not open for a common optoms. It is for educators only. And this is a platform which is to enhance the education of contact lens and optometry.
I wanted to add one more thing with this. For students particularly, IACL has launched STE, Student Trial Exams. So the students can contact their contact lens teacher and ask the details about it. So in a third year or a final year student can write these STE, Student Trial Exams of IACL. And the IACL provides the certificate once the student passes. That is a very, very, very valuable certificate a student will have, and it is, recognizable all over the world.
Manashri knows about it, and she must have written that also.
Yeah.
So we have received a question from our audience. Mr. Priyansh Sarma asks, how is my master's degree going to help me in the corporate sector? Dr. Aditya?
Sorry, how is it going to help in?
Corporate sector.
I didn't, can you repeat that?
How will a master's degree help him in a corporate sector? We have it in the chat box if you'd like to visit it.
Let me see that.
The corporate sector, how a master's program is going to help?
In the corporate sector, actually the programs that we have today will not help him in the corporate sector if he wants to go into the products as a product specialist or as the salesperson or whatever. I mean, if he wants to go in for innovation or research and development, that is not really going to help him. The master's program is not really going to help him as such. Now, corporate sector has a number of divisions to it. So I don't know what he's referring to. If he's referring to the sales and marketing, Our current master's
MBA.
program do not provide anything. So I think he should get into business administration masters, MBA or
Yeah.
PGBBA or those kind of programs. I don't think clinical master's program in optometry is going to help him. If he's looking as a product specialist, probably to an extent, yes, but nothing very major. If he is looking at innovation, the research aspect of it will help him. But apart
Will
from
help,
that,
yeah.
developing a tool or a new product, it may not.
Okay, one other role a corporate segment also looks into is teaching. Like you are into training and
Yeah.
things. So that might give an edge. Again, it comes to the individual competency. Does he really, because in corporate, there's going to be competition among his own colleagues. If he has that competency that I'm a good trainer who can not just go, because it is not selling, right? We call it dispensing, right? So any products that are going to come, if he can train the people, if he can be an educational part, that masters might help if that has a component. For example, our masters has a full training program on pedagogy and ethics, and that has been recommended by not just Mahi alone, but it's a UGC recommendation saying that pedagogy and ethics has to be part of a master's program. Major institutes, we are bringing it in, right? So that's going to help them become a better trainer, possibly.
Yes, I would add in a different perspective. Getting a master's in as Adi and other people have said, it's about optometry. But on the other side of coin, when somebody does his 2 years of masters, he also gains a level of maturity, decision making, commands, thinking, critical thinking, which would help him probably at this job. So it is not only optometry how it is going to help. It is the second side which is going to groom him and put him a better candidate at multinationals.
We have received another question from our audience. I would like to ask this to Velaramati ma'am. So if a student wants to continue his career in clinical training, so what are the courses that would be useful to them?
You have all your residency program is one where you can see more number of patients and you can gain knowledge. Or if you want to do a particular stream, say you want to specialize yourself in binocular vision, you want to specialize yourself in low vision, or even clinical optometry, there are fellowship programs. Apart from that, even your masters in clinical optometry will also add knowledge for your clinical stuffs.
Thank you, Ms. Valarmati. We have arrived at the end of the session today. I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to all of our panelists for a wonderful discussion today and great insights. I hope our audiences listening to us today have also enjoyed the discussion. So before wrapping up, I would like to ask our panelists one last time about anything that they would like to add here that we might have missed today, or any last words they'd like to share with our audiences. Professor Venkataramana.
Yeah, I think for the integrated programs, I think I missed vision rehabilitation. Like other things I told about image processing, Python, bioethics, public health, community. And another important aspect is vision rehabilitation also the students can look into.
Thank you, Professor Venkataramana. Dr. Ramesh, any last words for our audience or anything that we've missed today? Sorry for the plane.
No, I think we have really taken up good 1.5, 2 hours, near 2 hours of time, and appreciate their passion to be with us, with our sharing our journey. Only one thing is, remember that you are here for a longer time. COVID might give us some risks. Okay, hum honge kamyab. So it's never going to be like, the world is going to end. Don't believe in those theories. So have that passion. So competency is one thing that you need to keep on developing. It's a lifelong learning that you're into. Develop your competencies towards knowledge, skill, attitude, and very importantly, passion. This is the blend that's going to keep you very relevant and enjoyable life also as a professional in whichever field. This fits into any domain, and we are happy to be primary high-end healthcare professionals, not just eye, sir. I agree, high-end healthcare professionals.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Dr. Aditya, anything that you would like to tell our audiences today?
Well, very short and sweet. Enjoy whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
You enjoy
that's
it,
very
you will
primary
like
actually.
it, and you will be able to do it to the fullest extent. If you're not enjoying it, you're not really doing any justice to whatever you're doing. So enjoy
Yeah.
whatever you're doing and you'll do it well.
Words to live by, indeed. Thank you, Dr. Aditya. Mr. Usman, anything that you would like to say to our audiences today?
Certification is not the end of learning. One needs to have a zeal and add or groom or keep upgrading your knowledge of whatever you're going to do in the future. So that's what the key line I put at the end of the session.
Thank you, Mr. Usman. Valarmati ma'am, anything that you would like to share with our audiences today? Anything that you'd like to tell them?
I would say that be proud for having chosen optometry as your profession, and be proud to be an optometrist, and enjoy everything that you do.
Here, here, indeed. Thank you so much for your kind words. And again, thanks to all of our panelists today, Professor Venkataramana, Dr. Ramesh, Mr. Usman Memon, Valarmati ma'am, and Dr. Aditya. Thank you so much for joining me today for the ForOptom Optometry Updates Expert Live panel discussion. We all have learned something of value, especially me. And the session is live on YouTube, and it shall remain on the platform if any of our viewers wish to revisit it or have missed any part of the discussion. I would also like to thank our audiences here for being here with us and for the love and support that you have shown to us and for Optom. We will be back in future with more programs, session and panel discussions and so on. On that note, I would like to end this session here. Stay tuned for more programs by ForOptom. You can also visit us at www.foroptom.com. Also join us on social media, WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram. This is your host Manashvi signing off now. Stay home, stay safe and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Nice evening.
Are we off air? Sakar sir, are we off air?
Sakar is sleeping.
Hope not.
முடிஞ்சிடுச்சா லைவ்? I think it's still on.